You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Good morning. Welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, Calvin Butenoff, coming to you live from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. You can leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Tomorrow, Free Ticket Fridays is back.
Oh, baby.
That means starting with Pat Kreitlow at 6 a.m., 6 to 9, mornings with Pat Kreitlow. He will have a keyword for you. We will have a keyword for you. There will be one with Tom Hartman between 11 and 2, and then Todd Alba, 2 to 4, Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6. You text in that keyword, and then you're in the running for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers Club-level tickets. Good seats.
Super nice.
And super easy to win. Again, just make sure you have the Civic Media app. You can download it wherever you get your apps.
Spelling counts.
It does.
Only through the Civic Media app. And if you win the tickets and you head down there for the game, take pictures, text them to us via the Civic Media app, because you can text, you can call, you can leave a voice note.
Yes.
We just, honestly, I really want to see people have, people did this last year when they got tickets. They would take pictures and send them to us. If I'm not mistaken, I want to remember who it was. It was a Sherry
from Horicon.
Sherry from Horicon sent us last year.
That's right.
And so, send us pictures. We'd love to see your fun time at the Brewers game in those cushy club seats.
Yep, nice cushy seats. Tomorrow, Free Ticket Fridays is
All
back,
right.
starting with Pat. Again,
I can't wait to play.
At 6, you can't.
Darn.
At 6 a.m. We're going to talk sports, by the way, coming up later on this hour with Paul Noonan from the Acme Packing Company. Miz with a good win yesterday.
He ain't missing it, is he?
He's not
Calvin
missing.
hates me.
And I want to talk a little bit with Paul just about, I was at a batting cage once. It's terrifying. It is. It's terrifying.
It's anxiety fueling if you're with people. I once went out on a double date to a batting cage.
No.
Batting cage, go-kart, the whole shebang.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I'm a baseball player, and I wasn't saying I was trying to hit 90-mile-an-hour fastballs. I hit nothing.
Whoosh.
And with every little bit, I'm like, and there goes the second date. There goes another call. And she's going to give me a fake phone number. All right, cool.
We will talk about that with Paul Noonan from the Acme Packing Company after the 10:30 news, and then we'll wrap up the show as we always do with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it is the Bear Grill edition. Stay tuned for that. There's a visual element that will be worth it. Wanted to talk about this a little bit. This is from the Wisconsin Examiner. GOP megabill still stuck in U.S. Senate as disputes grow over hospitals and more. Yeah, some Republicans are realizing, again, consequences. Consequences of actions.
Or they're realizing voters.
Gaming it out to what are potential outcomes of this. Yeah, they're hearing from a lot of their constituents saying, if you kill Medicaid, I'm going to die. And so this is the holdup.
Yeah.
U.S. Republicans, Senate Republicans, still deeply divided over how to set up a fund for rural hospitals. Dr. Lyerly, we had her on last week. She talked about this. There are at least 2 hospitals. One she works at in rural Minnesota.
Hibbing, Minnesota.
In Hibbing, Minnesota. Another in northern Wisconsin, who essentially said if they do this, these hospitals are going to close.
That's on top of the 2 hospitals and I believe 19 clinics that closed last year.
In western Wisconsin.
In western Wisconsin.
They are still waiting for that money. The Joint Finance Committee is still sitting on that money that was approved to try and help them out after those hospital closures. And now we'll have to see. Wisconsin Republican Senator Ron Johnson casting doubt on getting this passed anytime quickly. Quote, we're still discussing some pretty fundamental issues, says Rojo. I'm just laying out the reality of the situation. We've got a lot of work to do, unquote. Because, of course, Ron doesn't want this to pass because he wants there to be deeper cuts. There should be more cuts.
Yes. Yeah. I really have to give it up to Ron Johnson for just bulldozing his way to the front of this conversation and trying to paint himself as the hero of the story of this isn't good enough. Because when people hear that, they tend to think, oh, it's not good enough. It's going to be okay. No, No. He doesn't care about your hospitals.
No.
He does not care about your Medicaid, does not care about your Medicare, does not care about your SNAP benefits, does not care about anything. As we've seen, proof positive 5 years ago when he did the same thing with the last budget. Or not the last budget, but that budget where
he's the holdout.
He was the holdout
Yep.
because he couldn't get the deep cuts for him and his buddies, and that was why the bill wasn't good. Not because it's threatening the voters and their safety, their health, and all those things.
No.
It's because he needs a eighth boat, Jane, to get him to his seventh bigger boat.
Well, I don't know if it's a boat so much. I thought it was more planes. I thought Rosa
he was
kind
in
of
the
into
boat world.
planes.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah,
Personal planes.
It's. But this goes back to what you were saying earlier in the show, which is this bill. Like, you want to put cuts for your buddies in there? Fine, you're going to do it. I don't have the power to stop you, and I know it sounds depressing, but you actually have some power, folks. myvote.wi.gov. Tell them what you think.
You can call.
But it's the notion of build some things into it too, like build some funding for hospitals or build some funding like. You can still have a lot of your money. And even if you reduce the tax cuts by a little bit, you're still going to get a lot of money.
Well, and I've thought about that too, because the tax cuts are a big part of why the Senate why Republicans want this bill to pass, to continue the 2017 tax cuts.
Yeah.
Why can't we just lessen some of those a little bit? That would help save some money.
To me, it has to be a true, and I'm not even adjacent to this, but psychological addiction to money. You have to have the most money because they won't stop until they get everything, and they want all the money. They want all of the billions. That's the only thing I can think of. There's no altruistic reason why these cuts work other than to feed the money and power of the rich, and the rich are getting richer every moment. So those things of saying, like, we want to make sure we protect Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP. We want to make sure hospitals are build a budget which funds things so you can say, here's what we did. And they're still going to take their money. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's so brazen at this point. They are showing they do not care. And then the moment that regular folks start speaking up, they go, oh, shoot, we didn't think about that. As you said, because they don't think about anything.
Well, they don't look further down the road. If we do A, what is Z?
Yeah.
Which I would think is important in government, to look at consequences
I don't know.
Or things that happen when you make a decision. The other thing that I keep waiting for to see, because we keep hearing about all this waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicaid, and Republicans are going to fix it. You know, they're not kicking anybody off. They're going to make it more efficient.
They're saving it, Jane.
Yes, they're saving Medicaid for those who actually need it. What is the process that they're going to go through in order to do this? I have been waiting for anyone to give me details about the finding waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicaid. What is that process? How are you going to do this? The only thing I can think of is to make everyone reapply for the benefits they are already receiving.
Well, it's something actually, don't they already do that? In order to get benefits, you have to maybe not reapply, but you have to show proof of need every 6 months.
Well, they want it every 6 months. I believe it's once a year right now.
But there's an easy way, Jane, of doing that. And if Elon Musk would have come in here and said, I want to set up, and he didn't call it Doge because that is ridiculous, but if he would have said, hey, I think it's a great idea if we set up hearings that looks at all the entitlements, the social safety net, because there is waste and abuse within those social safety net to the tune of billions of dollars, because those are huge pots of money. There are ways of doing it where we say, all right, for the first 2 years of this administration, we're going to have talks, we're going to have hearings, we're going to have reports, we're going to have experts, we're going to study this, and then we're going to come back to you after the midterms with something to say, here are our recommendations, here's how we can do it.
Here's what we found.
But Jane, I'm speaking like a fair-minded, level-headed adult right now who just thinks to myself, well, Jane, if I personally go out and spend $2,000 tomorrow on a scooter, a moped, I won't be able to pay my mortgage. I'm thinking ahead. You know, I'm thinking about how do we fix these problems that are real problems, but we do it in a way that is smart and is long-term goal oriented
and precise.
But that's not what they do, Jane.
Well, no, they kind of came in and just blew everything up, thinking that would go well. Unofficial details show Senate Republicans are looking at the inclusion of a $15 billion fund to help rural hospitals. That's $3 billion a year between 2027 and 2031. Robert J. Marshall, who is on the Senate Committee on Finance, would like that to increase to $5 billion annually. Yeah, because they're talking about cutting, billions and billions of dollars from Medicaid. I would like to see your evidence of waste, fraud, and abuse. I'd go to the Doge site, but is it even in existence anymore?
It probably hasn't been updated in a while. I haven't looked at it either.
Well, Big Balls is gone now, so.
Dear FCC, that was a statement made in context of the conversation.
That's his nickname. Yeah. I'm just saying it out loud.
Big Balls bounced out the door. He's done here.
Like the alliteration.
But that's a great point, Jane, you bring up, because, and we spoke about this in a couple times before, former Doge employees saying that he found not only is there not as much waste, fraud, and abuse as they were claiming, he was looking for the real thing. He wanted to help.
Yes.
He left because there was not.
He couldn't find enough.
And he said he was surprised at how efficient the government runs. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know the amount of rural hospitals there are in this country, but to me, $15 billion doesn't even seem to scratch the surface of what they need. They're already going to be operating at a loss and probably still firing employees, because that's the other conversation that's not being had, is that, we talk about those 2 hospitals in Western Wisconsin. It was 2 hospitals, and that's bad enough as it is.
But the clinics.
But the 19 clinics that closed as well. This has a ripple effect that, I'm sorry, $15 billion, thanks for the birthday money. That's not what we need. We need a real solution.
Yeah, thanks for the birthday card.
Yeah.
That was really nice. And again, we hear so much about the struggles rural areas are having with attracting population and all of those things. Hospitals are a key part of that. If we want to encourage folks to move to more rural areas, they need a hospital that's at least within 60 miles.
That is when we're talking about like a family moving into a neighborhood or a place, they're going to look at the school district.
Yep.
They're going to look at access to hospitals. They're going to look at roads. They're going to look at they're going to look at all these things. And if those areas have nothing to offer, they're going to move to the big cities.
They're going to go someplace else. Yep. When we return, yes, Brittany Merlot will be here, Civic Media's award-winning meteorologist. Brittany's going to join us for a little weather and wine. Find out, I believe we do have some storms that are expected to still move across Wisconsin, and then we'll see what happens. It's going to get really, really hot on Sunday again.
I know, it's not even the good storms. They're like, oh, I feel good and cooled off. It's like, oh, it's hot rain.
That sticky rain. Brittany's on the way, so stay with us. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Good morning. Welcome back to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, Calvi Teeny on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. After 10:30, Paul Noonan will be here from the Acme Packing Company. Going to talk all things sports and the improving Brewers. Had a good win yesterday. We'll talk to Paul about that and many, many other things. Greg's very happy.
I'm very happy.
I know you are very happy. We are very happy to be joined by our friend and colleague and multi-award winner, Civic Media's meteorologist, Brittany Merlot is here. Good morning, lady. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Actually, in a hoodie right now because the temperatures are so drastic across the state.
You're in Was. It's really hot down here. We're in Racine, and it's got to be 85 degrees and really sticky again.
Yes, you've got that heat. That front is draped from La Crosse to about Milwaukee. Places north, you're in the 50s and 60s. It is 54 degrees right now in Superior, Wisconsin.
Whoa!
My windows will be open, and I would just be it's so insulting, too, when it's like, it's 83 degrees. Oh, but it feels like 90. Oh, come on.
Yep. I hate doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm always the bad news bearer, of course, and it does feel like the mid 90s down south today. Very gross, still hot, humid, but you've got some sunshine.
Yep.
We've got a lot of clouds up north. We've got foggy conditions in the middle of the state. And the low pressure system is finally going to move through. So the front won't sit here any longer after today. So that's the good news, right?
That is good news. So we do have some, are we going to be expecting storms across the state later on today?
Yes, we are. So they're going to start to spark up around 3 o'clock or so, mainly off to the west. But there could be a little line that does want to move towards Milwaukee. So keep an eye out for that this afternoon. We could see some severe weather. Mainly from La Crosse into central areas, a little bit north of Madison. That's all the area. It wants to weaken as it goes towards Lake Michigan. That's what's going to happen again. So isolated storms out first, high winds, possibly a tornado in some areas. Yep. The atmosphere's just got a lot of juice to work with.
Yeah,
the front just sitting there.
There's so much moisture in the air, you can feel it. You can really, I had to have my wipers on this morning.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
there was a
Isn't
lot
that
of
crazy.
Yeah,
there
it
was a lot
crazy.
of condensation on my window when I left this morning. Yeah.
It's making me sweat just thinking about it.
In her nice little Great Lakes sweatshirt up there in Wausau. Will this get rid of the humidity then when these storms finally break through?
Yes.
Yay.
So it's the good news. It's going to be comfortable tomorrow. We're going to be in the upper 70s to mid 70s for next week. And it's going to be a dry stretch too, which is really awesome news. We haven't had days strung together with dry conditions statewide in months.
Where are we drought-wise? Are there areas that really don't need any more moisture, any more rain?
Pretty much, yeah. We don't need any more rain.
We don't.
Oh, okay.
No, we're done. Yeah, we're done.
It was weird because yesterday I had a notification on my phone saying it's storming out in Racine, and there was no storms whatsoever. I just was very weirded out by that. That they were like, we don't need rain. Well, we're not getting rain. It's not raining. Why is it telling me it's raining? I was very weirded out.
Oh, that's weird. Was it a hydraulic outlook? Sometimes those are confusing.
Okay,
where it's
all right, I don't.
That's what you were
it's gonna
checking,
flood
isn't
in the next few days.
it? But, I mean, flash flooding is a concern, especially for areas that are already pretty saturated.
Yes, and there's flood watches out. Those rivers are rising, especially over into western, southwestern Wisconsin areas. I mean, right now, the Yellow River and the Cedar, the Kickapoo River at Viola, the Black River Falls, and even the Mississippi is getting high at La Crosse. So over the next few days and into the next week, because it takes a while for all that rain to get in the ground, get into the river basin, and flood it. So we're keeping an eye out for that, but more and more still expected. So we've got another round, not only today, but of course we've got another round that is going to go through Saturday night potentially, and then another one Sunday night. That is a cold front Sunday night. That one could bring some heavier rain too, adding to those totals.
PJ on the live stream says, my garden is already soggy. I hear you.
Oh.
Yeah, I hear you about that. But again, why can't we just drown the right things? Can we just drown certain plants? I would really
I was like,
appreciate
what are we
that.
talking about right now, Jane?
It's like,
Mosquitoes, but then they thrive in that.
oh
too.
my God, the weeds in my garden they're fantastic. They're doing so well. They're growing like nobody's business.
You would think my lawn is just weeds, and I made it that way. No, I did not. Someone please help me immediately.
So next week is looking good. Not quite so unbearably hot.
Yeah, it's actually fantastic. A lot of dry days. I mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday looks dry, but then we're rolling into the 4th already, aren't we, at this point? It's Friday the 4th?
Yes, next Friday is the 4th.
That snuck up on me. It just gave me the chills. How is it already July? But unfortunately, right now, data does show some storms rolling through most of the state on Friday. So hopefully that changes, but just a heads up right now, it does look like
sure.
that could happen.
Well, whatever you do, just keep an eye on the forecast, especially when we have the potential for severe weather like this afternoon, as you mentioned, Brittany. We don't want anybody to get caught unawares, especially if a tornado forms or something like that. So
Absolutely.
Brittany Merlot joins us every week at this time for a little weather and wine. She is Civic Media's award-winning.
Like I've seen her carry so many awards. They're actually right behind. If you're watching the live stream,
Weighed down by all her trophies and all her hardware.
she needs a bigger hoodie to put them in the pockets.
Civic Media meteorologist
Yes.
Brittany Merlot. Thank you so much, Brittany. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
Take care. We have news coming up next. And then on the other side, Paul Noonan from the Acme Packing Company, all things sports. Stay close. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach. Our resident young person, Calvin, is on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can join us. Call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Thinking about next weekend, long 4th of July weekend, if you're looking for some mood music. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Civic Media has a whole bunch of music stations.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
We have a whole bunch of music stations.
I
You
didn't
can
know where this was
listen
going.
to Civic Media's music stations all across the state, like WCFW in Eau Claire. We have 99.7 Max FM in Baraboo, 98Q Country in Park Falls. So much music. WRCO in Richland Center, 95.7 St. Croix Country, and of course, Real Oldies. So good on WRJN right across the hall from us.
Yeah.
So download the Civic Media app, and that gives you the ability to listen to any of our stations, talk stations, music stations, you name it. Download the Civic Media app. It is absolutely free. He joins us to talk all things sports. The Acme Packing Company sports guru, Paul Noonan, is here. Good morning, Paul. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that kid, The Miz.
The Miz,
The
Jacob
Miz.
Mizorowski, who first of all is very likely the best pitching prospect the organization has ever had.
Wow.
And it's hard to imagine anyone starting off their career better than Jacob Mizorowski has. In his second ever start, taking a no-hitter into the 7th inning, and a perfect game for a long time until he plunked somebody or walked somebody. And then in his third start, going up against Paul Skeens, probably if not the best pitcher in baseball, definitely the best young pitcher in baseball. One of the people most like Jacob Mizorowski, another tall fireballer who's established himself as just an instant sensation. Also has some TikTok social media cred by virtue of his relationship with Livy Dunn. And Mizorowski outdueled him in his third start. In a 4-2 victory, those 2 runs came after he had departed the game. They're keeping him on a pretty tight leash. They're not letting him work really past the 5th. They let him go a little bit on the no-hitter, but and this is very smart. He throws 102 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But really, I mean, the only real issue that anybody has with Mizorowski at this point is just that he throws so hard that there, every pitcher gets hurt eventually, and he probably will eventually get hurt. But at this point, we should just enjoy this while it's going on, because I haven't seen a Brewer this impressive on the mound really since CC Sabathia. And he was our one season wonder to drive us into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They really have, Ben Sheets was a great prospect back in the day, but injuries undid him, and he was kind of a weird 2-pitch starter. Mizorowski's great, and everybody should be enjoying this moment because he's also kind of turbocharged the team to some extent as well. Since he's been up, they've been dynamite. Their offense has also improved. Just some guys have gotten hot. They've been one of the hottest teams in baseball. I did not think they would get to within shouting distance of the Cubs again this year. They're 2.5 back, and the Cubs haven't actually been. The Cubs have not been tanking. They're 5-5 in their last 10, so they haven't been hot, but they've been playing pretty well too. And the Brewers have just continued to grind and make up ground, and they're right back in it. So it's been a really fun run. Mizorowski is, of course, the highlight of it, and they get to play the Rockies next. So the Rockies are atrocious. They're one of the worst teams in baseball. And so if they can maybe sweep the series, they might be able to get over the hump on the Cubs here and really put them into a bit of a panic mode on the north side of Chicago.
I was looking at the Colorado Rockies currently are worse than the White Sox, 31.5 games out of first place.
Youch.
And we're 2.5 months into baseball.
Yeah, you shouldn't. The Rockies are something special. Well, it's just weird to have the White Sox be one of the worst teams of all time, just last year.
Yeah.
And then the Rockies were projected by most major baseball statistics guru sites to be worse than them this year. And those projection systems don't like to project outliers. They tend to bring people back toward the middle. And I saw that. I was like, well, how bad could they really be? No, they nailed that. The Rockies are 18-62. The Rockies haven't won 20 games yet this year. Every other team in baseball except the White Sox has won at least 30. The White Sox won 26, by the way. They're loads better than the Rockies are. So, this is the Cubs, by the way, in fairness, do still play the Rockies 3 times. So they will get to catch up from this later on. But we get them next. So this should be fun.
The question I have for you, Paul, and this is just, this is getting into the psychology of not just the pitcher themselves, but the actual pitching staff. How do you get into the head of someone like Jacob Misiorowski and tell him, look, we love the Heat. The Heat is great, but you have to look 3, 5, 7 years down the road and make sure you throw that heat when necessary. Not every time, because one day you're going to, it's a Tommy John surgery. It's a blown out shoulder. It's something that causes that wonderful heat that we love watching is going to cause the end of his career. And are there ways of pitching staff, the pitching coach, or Pat Murphy sitting him down saying, look, son, we love you, but let's game this out. Let's make sure we use those pitches thoughtfully.
So definitely, and I think it requires a bit of an old school mentality. Starting pitchers, when they used to go 8 innings routinely, complete games routinely, used to save their best stuff to get out of high leverage situations and throw 80% fastball, beating 80% of effort fastballs most of the time. And I think you can do that with him, and I think they have to some extent. One of the problems with Misiorowski, though, I think is problem, quote unquote, just from a potential health perspective, is an 80% fastball from him is still like 97 miles an hour. Something that would have been, he threw a 95 mile an hour changeup in that game. He throws just with such extreme gas that I don't really think you could have him back off that much. Maybe he'll be just the kind of freak athlete that doesn't break down. Knock on all kinds of wood saying that. Again, like all pitchers get hurt eventually. But they are good at this. And one of the things the Brewers do, one of the reasons I think there's some reason for optimism is when they do see guys that they think will not be able to sustain being a starting pitcher, they're very quick to kick him to the bullpen. Like Abner Uribe throws almost as hard as Misiorowski does, and they just decided based on control, and I think just looking at how his mechanics work, it's not going to work for him as a starter. He's in the bullpen for that reason. The fact that they've pushed him to be a starter this long and gotten a couple of extra pitches out of him, like his curveball is really good too. I think they see at least the potential for sustainability here. So again, there's no way to protect pitchers from blowing out elbows. It's impossible. It's like a third of pitchers in baseball have Tommy John surgery. So it'll probably happen sooner or later, but hopefully later. And hopefully they know what they're doing here and that we get to just enjoy him throwing gas over and over and over again.
Well, and we talked about this just starting off the top of the hour, but I think for anybody who does not appreciate just how fast that is and what that's like whizzing past your head, go in a batting cage, because I had the opportunity a long time ago, and there's the slow speed and then there's the fast speed. The slow speed was too fast for me. It's just so 102 mile an hour ball. It's really hard to grasp your head around unless you try and swing at that.
Yeah.
And it's not just 102 with him. He's also 6'7". And he has huge range.
Oh,
wow.
That's right. You were saying this. Yeah.
Yeah. So he is also releasing the ball closer to home than just about any other pitcher.
Because his arms are so long.
Right. And that matters a lot. It's one of the things we track as well. I don't know how anybody gets a hit off of him ever. It is a testament to Major League Baseball hitters that they can even do it anytime. The guy is incredible.
Well, leave it to
you want to hear another fun Brewer thing, by the way?
Please.
I got one other fun Brewer thing real quick. So one thing that my colleague Ryan Top likes to track, they are this year 6% better than an average baseball lineup with runners in scoring position, and they're 9% worse than average in all other scenarios. And normally that would just be a random statistic that would come back to the mean over a long period of time. But this is now the 4th season in a row where they have drastically exceeded the MLB average with runners in scoring position, but been worse in all other situations. I wish I had a good explanation for that. I do not. The one thing I can say is they have more contact hitters than most other teams. They have guys like Durbin and Bryce Terang and Sal Frelick, who are high contact guys, not big power guys. And I could see that being helpful. But it's an interesting thing just to kind of keep an eye on because it's weird. And it's one of the reasons their offense has sort of exceeded your kind of normal Brewer expectations, especially over the last few weeks with Ortiz kind of starting to make better contact too. It's a bizarre thing, and it makes me think they know something that other teams don't. That it'll be hard to get it out of them. They don't give up secrets easily. But it's a weird little Brewer anomaly that's now been consistent that is not the case with other teams.
If you're just joining us, we're talking to Paul Noonan from the Acme Packing Company, and we are glowing over the Brewers right now. But, Paul, I got to say, when I can talk to you about certain baseball things, I feel very proud of myself. And then when you dig into this part of it, I feel like I am literally trying to hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I'm like, I don't know what you mean by that. That's percentages of the 9 to the – nope, no idea. I just know that we're doing good.
We're doing good.
But baseball is a game of statistics.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
It is the most game of statistics.
Yes.
It is. They track everything.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. Some would say too much, but
some could say that.
Yeah.
Some could say that.
Paul, the NBA Finals are finally over.
They are. They were a fun NBA Finals, except poor Tyrese Halliburton, the villain everybody loved to hate, who played phenomenally when he was healthy. He blew out his ACL early in Game 7, and that was kind of it for the Pacers. Oklahoma City took that home, and just kind of unfortunate. Major leg injuries, ACL tears, Achilles tendon tears, actually are hugely up in the NBA over the last 5 years. Speaking of things we track, Achilles, thank you, Calvin. I appreciate that. ACLs and Achilles both will doom you for the foreseeable future. His was an Achilles rupture. And this is actually becoming a bit of a problem. But speaking of tracking too many things, one thing we track in the NBA is the amount of ground you cover over the course of a game. And guys have gotten so athletic in basketball that they cover about 15% more ground over the course of a game, playing defense, shooting in and out, than they did 10 years ago. Guys are also bigger, faster, stronger as people continue to get. And we're starting to actually, I think, see an uptick in major injuries just because of how big and quick and tall everybody is. And it's kind of becoming a problem. The NBA Finals and playoffs in particular have been massively impacted by major injuries for like 4 straight years. The Bucks, they lost Giannis for a couple games.
Right.
They've lost major players right before a couple of times. And I think that load management's already a big thing with the NBA. But if this keeps happening and impacting the playoffs, they might have to take some more drastic measures to keep guys healthy than they are right now. I don't know if that's expanding rosters or actually shrinking the season. They'll never do that. Too much money. But,
No, they will never do that.
But it's too bad because it cost them what was probably going to be an epic Game 7 and instead turned into kind of an afterthought when Halliburton was out.
He is the Acme Packing Company sports guru, and he joins us every other week or so. Paul Noonan is here. Thank you so much, Paul. We're going to see you next week as well.
Thanks, all.
Stay with us. We're going to wrap up the show with This Shouldn't Be a Thing, Bear Grill edition. Stay close. You're listening to Matt and Air on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Welcome back to Matt and Air on Air. Jane Matt and Air, Greg Bach, Calvinator on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Dan Schaefer, our friend and colleague, Civic Media political editor and creator of the multi award-winning Recombobulation area.
We've won an award. I'm not going to take away from our achievement. We won a WBA.
We did.
We
got second.
We got second. I'll take that.
Sure.
But we are so multi-award winning adjacent. I am so proud of all of our friends, whether it's, I think, Brittany Merlot, Dan Schaefer, Lauren Burke,
Melissa Kay.
Yep. I mean, my goodness, the list goes on and on. It's almost like Civic Media is amazing.
It's fantastic.
Indeed.
As I said, tomorrow.
Sorry.
Threw me off there. Dan Schaefer will be here tomorrow to do some recombobulating. Lots of things going on, including the Supreme Court decisions from yesterday that we talked a little bit about earlier this morning. But Dan will break that down. And also the latest polling from the Marquette University Law School poll.
Yes.
About whether or not Governor Evers should run for another term and just all kinds of things that came out in that poll yesterday. And I know Dan takes a real close look at that. So we will do that tomorrow when Dan joins us in hour number 2. Right now, it's 10:54. Calvin, that means it's time for...
This shouldn't be a thing.
If you find a thing you think should not be, send it into Greg and me at janesays@civicmedia.us. JANESAYS. Jane says at civicmedia.us. Today's Tisbet from the Associated Press. Headline reads with, no one has the byline on this. No one wanted to own this. The headline reads, an Alaska brown bear has a new shiny smile after getting a huge metal crown for a canine tooth. There's video that I think is worth looking at just because that is the biggest snout I have ever seen with one of those dental sprayer things in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you want to watch the video.
Sir, there's going to be some suction here. Does that mean some suction?
This might stick a little.
Yeah.
An Alaska brown bear at the Lake Superior Zoo in northern Minnesota has a brand new silver-colored canine tooth in the first of its kind bear procedure. The 800-pound bear was sedated Monday, fitted with a new crown, the largest dental crown ever created, according to the zoo. Zoo marketing manager Caroline Routley says he's got a little glint in his smile now.
He's walking down the way, just like, what's up, everybody?
He's styling.
Oh, yeah.
He's styling.
Yeah.
The hour-long procedure done by Dr. Grace Brown helped perform a root canal on the same tooth on that bear 2 years ago.
Oh, my gosh.
When he re-injured the tooth, they decided to give him a new, stronger crown. The titanium alloyed crown was created from a waxed cast of his tooth.
Nice.
And actually, the veterinary dentist who did this is going to publish a paper on this procedure later on this year.
When asked for comment, the veterinary dentist said, "Are you sure he's asleep?" I need a lot of reassurance on this one. Please tell me he's not going to wake up.
Double check. Just poke him with this pokey thing.
Literally poking the bear here.
Yeah, exactly. This is the largest crown ever created in the world. Therefore, it has to be published. The bear,
okay.
The bear named Tundra, along with his sibling Banks and Tundra, have been at the Duluth Zoo since they were 3 months old. Their mother was killed in the wild. Tundra is now 6 years old. Other veterinary teams have not always been so lucky. One in 2009 was performing a routine medical exam on a tiger. Yeah, that didn't go well. The tiger came out of sedation early, causing it to bite down.
No, thank you.
But in this instance, Tundra the bear, he's good. And he's smiling. And he's styling.
Tundra and Banks sounds like a personal injury attorney, law firm. Tundra and Banks. Have you been mauled by a bear during a routine orthodontic appointment? Tundra and Banks.
We'll sue for you.
We'll sue. When it comes to getting your money, we're great. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
That wraps up today's episode of
This shouldn't be a thing.
Don't forget, Free Ticket Fridays is back tomorrow starting at 6 a.m. with Pat Kreitlow.
Yep.
Each of us across the day with Pat from 6 to 9, with us from 9 to 11, Tom Hartman 11 to 2, Todd 2 to 4, and Maggie 4 to 6. All of us will have a keyword for you to text in via the Civic Media app, and then you're in the running for a great 4-pack of tickets, Milwaukee Brewers Club level tickets. So join us tomorrow for Free Ticket Fridays.
Cannot wait. That's going to be so much fun. We got a busy show tomorrow, too. That's going to be really fun. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. And are you going to make it to any games?
Yes, I promise you. And I'm going to go to a game. I'm looking to go to a game. Oh, I was asked there's a Saturday and I can't go, but I'm going to try to go next week. I'm going to try to actually go. I've got a nice, as you know, club is closed for the summer.
Right.
I'm going to try to have myself go to a few games.
I think you should.
Yeah, I think I should as well. So, and I'll have stuff to report. And if I get those tickets, and if you see me there in the club level with you, because, I'm using company tickets, I'll say it's a perk.
Take some pictures.
Take some pictures. Come say hi. I'm the guy who looks like me.
Thank you, Greg and Calvin and all of our engineers, because without you, nothing works. And thank you most of all for calling and for texting and for listening. It means the world. I hope you find some joy today and you get the chance to share it. Keep it right here. We got news coming up next on the Civic Media Radio Network. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.